Are you in New York right now?
I'm actually traveling up to work at Mohegan Sun tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday.
So, what has it been like for you? I've talked to several different comedians. They all have different stories. What has it been like for you working through this weirdness?
I hate to whine because I know everybody's had a tough time, but I think entertainers in particular have had a really tough time because, of course, audiences are not acceptable. And we've been told since the beginning of this that we are non-essential, and that keeps getting pounded into our head how non-essential we are. My mother-in-law prefers the term useless, but either way, it's hurtful, and it's gone on for a year now. And we've been climbing walls. We've been doing these Zoom shows, which have been, they're no fun. I did one last week that was so terrible, people got up and walked out of their own houses. So I'm very happy to get back in front of live audiences now. So I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, you're originally from Providence, right?
I'm originally from my mother's uterus, which
that's
was located in Providence at the time. So, yes, the rock from under which I crawl is Providence, Rhode Island.
You don't see this a lot in entertainment or comedy, but do you still work with your wife, Carrie?
I do. We are an endangered species. There aren't that many married comedy couples out there. You know, people yearn for the old days of Burns and Allen and Nichols and May and Lucy and Desi. So people are nostalgic for that. So we get called to do a lot of couples comedy stuff. But we're really two different comics, and her style is completely different than mine. She's a storyteller, and it takes her 5 minutes just to say hello to the audience. And I'm a ADD rapid fire one-liner guy. So merging our two styles together is it's a daunting task, but we do it when people want to see.
So when you met, was she already a comedian, or was it like, you know what, you're always gone, I'm going to see what this is all about, and then she decided to take her hand at it?
No, she was actually a comic, and I was a comic, both in Boston at the time. We were living in Boston, and she had vowed never to date another comedian, and I had vowed never to date another comedian or waitress, and we both violated our vows. That was 21 years ago. I was married 21 years. That was actually like 26 years ago.
See, that's amazing to me. First of all, congratulations on beating the average here in the United States, because I think the average now is down to 5 years. But on top of working with your wife, you've been together for 26 years, and you have children too, right? 3
that we know of. Who knows?
But
there could be more out there.
To stay together that long and work together, I think that's an amazing feat, Tom. You should get some kind of plaque or something.
I should. My grandfather said you should marry your best friend, and that's why he married his golden retriever, which is legal in Kentucky.
Have you done any of those drive-in shows? Because I was talking to Will Noonan, who's a comedian here in Boston.
I know Will. He's a great guy.
Yeah, and he said it was one of the weirdest experiences of his life to do like a drive-in show where people pulled in their cars, and then instead of clapping, they're beeping or they're flicking their lights. Have you done anything like that?
I haven't. And we were told beforehand that flashing the lights is laughter and honking is applaud. The better you did, the more disrupted the show got, because, if you were hitting a home run, it was just nonstop honking. It was like a New York City traffic jam. It was terrific. And we did a lot. Here's the other thing about outdoor shows. My first one was at a country club, and it was out on the green, literally out on the golf course, and tables were socially distanced, and they put these spotlights at our feet beaming up at us, and it was great until dusk. And then I took the stage, and people don't realize that spotlights attract moths and mosquitoes.
Oh.
And so I was literally being eaten alive for 45 minutes while trying to dish out some punchlines. And it was literally swatting away like cicadas, and big, gigantic moths on steroids while I was trying to do my show. So again, happy it's all over. Happy to get back into real venues like theaters and comedy clubs.
Well, at least you got a foothold in the cicada market, because that's a pretty valuable market right now, because we got those 17-year cicadas coming up this summer. So,
You're right. I definitely have the leg up on some of the other comics.
Right.
I've literally been swarmed.
You'll be opening for Ant-Man or something like that, right? I listened to Doggy Style on Spotify. Did that come out last year? It says 2020. Was that something you recorded last year?
Yeah, we recorded that. There's a thing called the the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival. It takes place in Jamestown, New York, and that's now the home of the National Comedy Center. And so we filmed that a few years ago up there. Carrie and I both did a show up there in a little theater they have up there, and it was great. And this past year, someone said, you'd like to see a new CD. And so it was only my second CD. So I said, sure, let's just put the live show out there. So we released it last year, but it was actually filmed recorded 4 years ago.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's well, one, it's awesome that Lucille Ball has a comedy festival named after.
That's her hometown. Yeah, that's where she was born, and that's why they do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I love the beginning of that. You can really hear you and Carrie, bouncing off of each other in the beginning there, which is hilarious. So it's that, like I said, it's a very uncommon thing. You don't see a lot of comedy duos, let alone the husband and wife team there.
It's tough. There are a few of us out there. There's Al Ducharme and Bernadette Foley is another one, Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane. But we are an endangered species. It's a competitive world. And she got the Aspen Comedy Festival before I did. And she went further than I did on Last Comic Standing. And don't think for a second I don't hear about that at least once a month. I did better on America's Got Talent. And so, we had these little but we're really different. If they're looking for a funny, short, white guy, they're not looking for her. And if they're looking for a funny female, they're not looking for me.
Right.
So and all the money goes to the same bank account. And so it's been, we had hurdles at the beginning, but every couple does. And, if she's going to have to dump me, I'm going to in it for the long haul. So it's been great.
Well, awesome. Tom Cotter at Mohegan Sun this weekend. You're there tonight and then tomorrow and Saturday, right?
That is correct.
And I'm sure, do you gamble? God, I hope you do. You've done casinos before, right?
I was in Vegas. Whenever I go to Vegas, I give a lot of money to the homeless. I'm sorry, the topless. I give a lot of money to the topless. But when I go to Vegas, I just went to a politically correct casino where they changed all the names of the games because they didn't want to offend anybody. So no longer is it Blackjack. No, it's Black Lives Matter Jack. And no longer is it One-Eye Jack. Now he's visually impaired Jack. No longer is it poker. Now it's take her out to dinner and a movie. And it was just intriguing to see how far we've come.
I thought you said it's poker with consent, right?
Yeah, it has to be mutual consent. There has to be signed documentation. And the lights have to be on. There's a lot going on there.
All right, that's Tom Cotter, and he was start out as a runner-up in America's Got Talent, one of the few people to come out of a reality competition show that actually has talent. So please go see him at Mohegan Sun this coming weekend. Tom, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you checking in.
I'm honored. Thanks for having me on, Mike. I appreciate it.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate taking the time, and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it. Anytime you want fill airtime, I'm available.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I may hit you up in the future, too.
I look forward to it.
All right.
You guys stole my protected Red Sox, but I'll get over it one day.
Oh, dude, I know. I feel bad, but I don't feel bad because the park is 5 minutes from my house. And
perfect.
I am so psyched because I love minor league ball, and it's just going to be awesome. Our opening day is on Tuesday.
That's great. And, you deserve it. We dropped the ball. Rhode Island completely dropped the ball on that. And so, there are elected officials whose head should roll. But I'm glad Worcester got it. At least it's close by. And I used to go to those games all the time at McCoy Stadium when I was a kid. So.
Yeah. I hope they start winning. They've started the season, and they've got like 2 hits for the whole season so far. So I hope they at least win a game.
That's the problem. The real Boston Red Sox are kicking butt. So, anytime someone gets good on the farm team, they yank them up. That's the problem. But you see the Stars of tomorrow today.
Yes, that's right. That's right. All right, Tom, thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Farewell, Mike.
All right.